Hey, Chrissy at Pinovate. This tutorial is for our geometric heart puzzle. It's a cute little project. You can leave the pieces apart as a puzzle. Kids are gonna love it, or you can glue them down and use it as a home decor piece. So follow along and we can make this together. Okay, so in your kit, you're gonna have a few different things in there. You're going to have your geometric heart as well as all the pieces inside, a backing to go along with it, a couple different shades of paint, some foam brushes, some E6000 glue, and a handy dandy little template so you can pre-plan where you want your colors to go. So grab all your stuff and we'll get started. So this is what our final project is going to look like. You can keep the pieces loose and use it like a puzzle, or you can glue them down and hang it up and use it like a home decor piece. The choice is up to you. So before we start pulling our heart puzzle pieces out, we're going to pre-plan what colors we're going to put where. So with your template, you can mark down what shades you would like in each section. So I have black, white, and blue, but I can also mix these two and create gray, or I can mix these two and create lighter shades of blue. So before I pull anything apart, I'm going to pre-plan where I want my colors. Okay, so I have all of my pieces pre-planned where I want them to go. And I'm gonna start with the very, very back. So this backing, we're gonna paint first so that it has a chance to dry. You can paint it any color you like. So when you pull your puzzle pieces out, this is gonna be the color that shows through. I'm gonna do mine white, but again, you can pick any color you want. All of these pieces are very, very dainty. So we want to make sure that the paint is extremely thin and flat when we're doing this. So when you're painting, you want to just pick up a small amount of paint on the tip of your brush and give it a nice flat coat. Okay, you want to make sure that you're using all the paint in your brush before you pick up any more. Feel free to do one full coat, let it dry, and then do a second coat. Okay, so my base is painted. I ended up doing 3 coats of white, just little coats, let it dry in between. And if you wanted to speed up the drying, you can use a blow dryer, but make sure that it is dry in between coats so that the paint goes on properly. Okay, so here comes the fun part. So we have our puzzle. So what I'm going to do right now is, according to my template, I was painting white, so I'm gonna go with all of my white pieces, and I'm going to just pull those ones out that I need. Your piece should come kind of taped and assembled in the back so they don't fall out. So I'm only gonna work piece by piece so I don't get confused and I know exactly where everything is. So I'm gonna pull out all of the pieces that I am painting white and work on those. Okay, so I have pulled out all of my pieces out of the puzzle that I want painted white. And I wanna make sure that they are face up. I'm painting the correct side. So there is a back side and there is a front side. So I wanna make sure that everything is facing the correct way. Now, this part is extremely important. Please pay attention. So when we are painting, we are only painting the very top. Do not get paint along the edges. If it builds up in paint, they will not fit back into the puzzle because it is such a tight fit. We don't want to put any paint along there to affect how the puzzle goes together. So a very thin coat on the top only, not on the sides. Okay, so as an example, if you happen to get paint along the side, please make sure to wipe it off. So I just use my fingers. I don't mind getting messy, but you can also use a paper towel. We want to make sure that those edges are clean so it does fit back into the puzzle. So just a reminder that these pieces are quite delicate to go back into the puzzle, so we want to make sure that we are painting them properly. I would do several very thin coats of paint, making sure that they dry in between, and making sure that there is nothing along the edges as well. So do a coat, let it dry, do a second coat and let it dry, and if it needs a third, go right ahead. Okay, so I am ready to move on to my next color. I have pulled all of the next pieces out for the dark blue, and I'm going to do the exact same thing to these pieces, making sure that I'm doing the front side of them, and again, several thin coats, and making sure that nothing is on the edge. All right, I'm on to my next set of colored pieces. These ones are gonna be light blue. So in order to do that, I have to mix some of my colors. So I have my dark blue and I have some white. So I'm just going to take some of each and mix them until I find the shade that I like. And with yours, you can do this with any of your colors to always make any of them a lighter shade. All right, I'm on to my last few pieces in my puzzle. These ones I'm going to make gray. So I have some white and some black, and I'm just gonna mix that until I find the shade that I would like. It's looking a bit dark, so I'm just gonna add some more white. That's better. So that's about the shade I'm looking for. And we're gonna do these last pieces. Okay, so I have all of the pieces of my puzzle are all painted. I'm moving on to the geometric shape that holds all of the pieces now. So this is completely up to you. You pick whatever color you want, or you could even potentially leave it blank and wooden as well. That would look gorgeous. So like we did with the other pieces where we could not have any extra paint along the sides or the pieces won't fit, same goes for this. So we don't want any extra paint going on the inside of any of these triangles here either, or the pieces are not gonna fit. So this is how you're gonna do it. You need a very, very small amount of paint and your foam brush. Okay, so I'm gonna paint mine black, and I have my foam brush. I am taking a very small amount, so small you can barely see it, very, very small. And rather than like squishing and dragging, I'm just going to very delicately tap it right on top. I want to barely touch any of the wood, okay? I don't want a ton of paint. That's why I'm using the smallest amount possible. And this is very, very gentle. It's like I'm using, this is like a feather, like I'm barely touching any of the wood with my brush. Alternately, if you have this at home, a makeup sponge, this also works really well. So again, using the square side, I'm going to take a very small amount of paint. I'm actually going to take most of it out, okay? And we just touch the top and dab. This works really well as well. So the less amount of paint, the better. We do not want any of it going into those triangles. All right, so I have my geometrical heart pattern all painted. I did a nice thin coat, so I don't have anything going through any of the triangles. So the next step is we are going to glue this down onto our base. that we painted at the very, very beginning. So we're gonna use the E6000 glue and just put a very small little amount on the back of this, and then press this down. Okay, so once you have the glue on the back, we're just going to line this up and place this down. Okay, so my outline is all glued down and set to my backboard, and I am ready to do the puzzle. All right, so we are all finished our geometric heart puzzle. I hope you enjoyed it. From this point, you can either leave all the pieces loose and use it as a puzzle, or you can actually put E6000 glue on each piece and set it in, and then that way you can use it as a decor piece and actually hang it up on your wall. Whatever you choose, it's going to be wonderful. Thank you so much for following along. I hope you enjoyed your geometric heart-shaped puzzle. I would love to see how they turned out. So please tag us on Instagram at Pinovate and DIY Delivery, and follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram as well. Thank you so much for following along.